Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a video that I took the idea from Tyra. Her YouTube handle is 100 palettes later, and so she did a video recently about like all the purchases that she's glad she didn't make throughout like the year. And I thought that was really interesting because like I've wanted a lot of things, but like for one reason or another I just like decided that it wouldn't be in my best interest to purchase that item. So yeah, I think it's a fun video. So the first thing that I wanted initially, but then I was like, it makes no sense, like makes no sense for me to purchase that since I hate pressed glitters, is the Tati Beauty eyeshadow palette, like the volume 1. I mean, she doesn't have any other one right now, but that's what it's called. I really wanted it, and it's like dumb reason why I really wanted it, but like I thought it looked really nice, and like you can get really nice like glam looks with it. But then it's like it has an entire row of pressed glitters, and I hate pressed glitters, and I was just like, I'm paying like 1/4 of the palette just for something that I'm not gonna use. So I decided like not to get it. It's also a larger palette, and I'm not really like the greatest fan of larger eyeshadow palettes, so I skipped on that one. Then the second makeup related item that I wanted initially when it first launched was the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe the volume 2 of the really big eyeshadow palettes, because the color story was really beautiful. And even recently that it went half off at Ulta, like I was like, I added it to my cart, I put the $3.50 coupon that they always have, and I was like, should I get it? Like it's only like $17. And then I was like, no, because it has also pressed glitters, I believe, and it's also a larger eyeshadow palette that like it's not easy to store how I want to have like all my makeup. So, and then I have purchased Morphe eyeshadow palettes, like the big ones, in the past. Like I even purchased the first Jaclyn big palette. I ended up depotting that palette, and then I ended up just throwing away the depotted shades because they were nothing unique once you took it out of that big palette. Like it was just basic colors that you probably already have in other eyeshadow palettes. So when I took it all apart, it wasn't no longer like unique or anything like that. So like I decided to skip on the second one because it would be the same thing. Like I'll be like, it's too big, I'm gonna depot it, and then I'll probably just end up throwing away those shades because they're not that great. Like Morphe's formula is nice, but it's nothing special. Then the third thing is the ColourPop big eyeshadow palettes. I really wanted that cool tone one. I think it's called like Stone something, I don't know, but that one really caught my eye because I do love cool tones. But then I ended up just buying the Baroque eyeshadow palette from which is cool tones, but it's smaller, and this is easy to store versus like that gigantic eyeshadow palette. But it's still really, like, it still calls out to me. Like every single time that somebody posts it, I'm like, oh my god, that's such a pretty eyeshadow palette. But like I just would not be happy with that palette in my collection because it's just too big. The fourth thing is Glam Light eyeshadow palettes. So like, don't get me wrong, I do have one of their eyeshadow palettes. I have the Ice Cream Dream. I got this one as a gift from Drea, and this one actually is pretty easy to store. The packaging isn't bulky. It actually isn't a massive eyeshadow palette. Like it is one of my bigger eyeshadow palettes, but it isn't like massive and like a weird shape like her other ones, like the Burger palette, the palette, like the Artist palette, that's an actual like paint palette. Like that's humongous and would literally not fit anywhere perfect like how I want it in my collection. Like it would just not look nice. The Cake palette is pretty rectangular, but it has like a curvy side, which would probably bother me like in storing purposes. So yeah, like this one is perfect because it's rectangular and you can actually store it. It's not that massive, but like those other ones and like the smaller ones, like the donut one and now the pie one, it has like a cushion, and I feel like that would just take up extra space, and I do not like that. Like the quality of Glamlight is amazing, but like that packaging, like can you just please release 2 eyeshadow palettes, like one with the extravagant packaging and then one with just like a basic rectangular packaging, because I will guarantee you more people would buy the eyeshadow like if they were given like that option, because I know that, like a lot of their stuff calls to me, but the packaging is just not, it's not something that I want to get into. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes and I just don't want to be struggling to store like a gigantic burger or a gigantic round pizza palette. Like it's just not something I want to do. And when like the pizza slices, like I like the idea of a smaller pizza, but it's like a triangle. Like I do not want to store a triangle palette. Like no thank you. I will stick with the rectangular palettes whenever they release them. The next thing is, I remember when like the body highlighter thing was like a big deal and people were paying like $50 and above for like a liquid highlighter for their body, and just like I don't want to put makeup on my body. Like I am okay, like I do not want to do that. First of all, like I'm lazy as it is. Like putting makeup on my face is enough. Like it's a lot of work. Like doing it on my body, it was just, no, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm really happy that I never like gave into that like glowy body thing that was happening like for like 2 years, like for 2 years now, like every summer, or I don't know, like that's just like not, no. The last thing I can think of like right now is the Storybook Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. Like don't get me wrong, I like the concept, but again, like the packaging is fine, like it's rectangular, but it's so freaking bulky. It's like this thick for an eyeshadow palette. Like it should not be happening. Like I like the idea, like you can have thin books, like you can have thin books. Like this Lunar Moonspell eyeshadow palette, this is a book and this is not thick at all. I mean, it is thick, but it's not like, if you've seen a Storybook Cosmetics eyeshadow palette in person, it's like this, literally this thick. Like it takes up the space of like 3 eyeshadow palettes, which is not needed. It's really not needed. And I think it has the same exact shades as this. And like even this didn't need to be that thick, but like the eyeshadow does not take up this much space in the palette, so there is no need for that. Like no need at all. The Storybook Cosmetics, like the color story is nice. Some of them I like, some of them are just like okay, but the fact that the packaging is like so damn bulky is really not worth it to me either. I don't know, I know that a lot of people have like problems with them because they always like sneak peek things too early and then take like a billion years to launch the item, but like that's not, like I don't care about that, but I do care about the fact that it's like not even easy to store those palettes. Like it's not, like you're taking up the space of maybe 3 eyeshadow palettes. That's just not worth it for me. Like no matter how nice your color story is, that will put me off of buying your eyeshadow palette. Like seriously. That is everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and see you guys next time. Bye bye.